Good evening and welcome to your Monday, October 6, 2025 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Sanctioned Guyanese businessmen indicted in U.S. over multi-million-dollar gold export fraud scheme. U.S. $262 million new Demerara River Bridge named after Vice President JAGDEO. New JAGDEO Demerara River Bridge, an engineering masterpiece, design of durability, says EDGHILL. GPF to increase presence, clamp down on traffic offences on JAGDEO River Bridge. Motorcyclist dies after swerving into path of racing car at South Dakota. And wife of BERBICE pastor killed after being struck by loosened lorry wheel. Now for the news in detail. OFECES sanctioned Nazar Mohammed and his son Asruddin Mohammed, who is also the leader of the newly formed We Invest in Nationhood Party, have been indicted by a grand jury in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. Here are the details in this report.
The father-son duo are now facing multiple charges including wire fraud, mail fraud, and money laundering primarily connected to the export of gold to the United States by Mohammed's enterprise, a company of the family's businesses. In a 12-page indictment seen by this newscast, it highlighted 11 criminal charges. Documents filed in Count 1 have accused the Mohammeds of conspiring to defraud the U.S. and Guyanese governments between 2017 and June 11, 2024. They were accused of depriving a scheme to unlawfully obtain property by transmitting communications via interstate and foreign commerce in violation of U.S. laws. According to the prosecutors, the goal was to enrich themselves and defraud the government of Guyana by evading taxes and royalties on gold exports. They allegedly reused Guyana's customs declarations and official seals on multiple shipments to make it appear that taxes and royalties had been paid when they had not. The indictment claims that Mohammed's enterprise would pay taxes and receive official Guyana Revenue Authority and Guyana Gold Board seals for one shipment and then reuse those same seals and documents on subsequent untaxed shipments. The indictment further alleges that the Mohammeds arranged for empty wooden boxes bearing intact GRA and GGB seals to be shipped from gold buyers in Dubai to Miami and then sent to Guyana. These boxes were then used to export gold while falsely appearing to have cleared customs and tax obligations. U.S. authorities allege the scheme resulted in more than U.S. $50 million in lost taxes and royalties to the government of Guyana. In addition, indictments 2 to 5 detail similar conduct involving shipments of gold, emails allegedly from Nazar Mohammed requesting the sealed boxes from Miami, and exports of over 165 kilograms of gold per shipment destined for Dubai. Charges 6 to 9 focus on mail fraud, referencing the shipment of sealed empty boxes from Dubai to Miami, while Charge 10 addresses money laundering, which alleged that the Mohammeds knowingly transferred funds within the U.S. with the intent to promote unlawful activity. Charge 11 alleges that Asruddin Mohammed purchased and imported a Lamborghini sports car to Guyana in 2020. The indictment alleges he directed someone to purchase the car for U.S. $680,000, then falsify the invoice to state a value of U.S. $75,300 to understate import taxes. The U.S. government is seeking forfeiture of certain assets connected to the accused. If convicted, most charges carry a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and fines of up to U.S. $250,000, while the money laundering charge carries a fine of U.S. $500,000 or the value of the laundered property, as well as the property will be forfeited to the U.S. The indictment follows sanctions imposed over a year ago by the U.S. government on the Mohammeds, their businesses, and Guyanese government Permanent Secretary May Thomas in relation to the same allegations. Despite the sanctions, Asruddin Mohammed launched the We Invest in Nationhood Party, which secured 16 seats in the September 1 elections, making it the main opposition party in Guyana's parliament.
The newly commissioned US $262 million bridge across the Demerara River has been named after former President and current Vice President Dr. BHARRAT JAGDEO in honor of his years of service and dedication to the upliftment of Guyana and its people. This announcement was made by President Dr. Irfan Ali during his feature address at the official commissioning of the bridge on Sunday evening. Describing him as a giant in local politics and economy, President Ali said Dr. Jagdeo has been a steady advisor, an architect, and an anchor in the country's development, working tirelessly to rebuild Guyana after dragging the country out from dark and violent times.
I want to recognize a man that has dedicated his life to the upliftment of this country. A man who has been an advisor, an architect, and an anchor in our development. Today, I want to pay tribute to a giant of our local politics and economy, BHARRAT JAGDEO. October the 5th, each year is special to him, for it was on this date, decades ago, that he stood shoulder to shoulder with Dr. Cheddi Jagan to pull Guyana out of the economic wilderness. The economy was bankrupt. Our roads were in tatters. The East Bank Public Road was so riddled with potholes that it took over an hour and a half to reach the Mary. Utilities had collapsed. Blackouts crippled businesses. Social services were poor. Debt consumed more than all of our revenues. Guyana was labeled a highly indebted poor country. A lesser soul would have walked away, but not BHARRAT JAGDEO. He stood and worked to resuscitate our economy, to lift Guyana. A few years earlier, he had returned from studies with a mind sharpened like steel and a work ethic that set him apart. Dr. Jagan recognized him a formidable asset, and he was elevated swiftly to Minister of Finance. Then he worked tirelessly rebuilding the country's revenues, introducing the most generous incentives regime to boost our economy. He did all of this while slashing import tariffs and fighting on the international front for debt relief. Under his watch, Guyana moved from being shackled by debt to standing with dignity. When he assumed the presidency in 1999, it was in the midst of violence and uncertainty. There was an opposition bent on destruction and a subsequent criminal insurgency aimed at toppling the government. A lesser man would have wilted, but BHARRAT JAGDEO never blinked. He stood firm. He stood up to the bullies. He shielded democracy. He saved Guyana from being dragged back into the darkness of authoritarian rule. He was a strong spine and steady hands. That is BHARRAT JAGDEO. But he was not just a national figure. He was a regional leader, a global thinker. He chaired CARICOM's agriculture initiative, which was designated the JAGDEO initiative. He gave the world the low-carbon development strategy, a pioneering model that today earns Guyana carbon credits and global respect. He was recognized by the United Nations as a champion of the earth. But long before that, he was our champion, our inspiration, the architect of our modern Guyana we are building. I've known him for many years as a confidant, as mentor, and as a friend. I can safely say he's a brother. But I've always respected his brilliance, his breadth of vision, his commitment to Guyana. Bharat Jagdeo is not a man who craves vanity. He does not seek monuments. He does not need limelight. But a grateful nation does itself an injustice if it fails to honor its heroes. And today, we set the record straight. And so, as President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, it is my honor, my privilege, and indeed my duty to ask you who are seated to stand and give him a rousing ovation. And today, on behalf of a grateful people, I am pleased to dedicate this bridge in the name of Bharat Jagdeo. From this day forward, it shall be called the Bharat Jagdeo Demerara River Bridge. Because great men deserve recognition, because visionaries deserve legacies, because Guyana never forgets its giants.
Also speaking at the commissioning ceremony of the new Bharat Jagdeo Demerara River Bridge was Minister of Public Works EDGHILL, who testified to the strength and durability of the superstructure constructed by China Railway Construction International Limited, with Polytechnia as the supervisory consultant.
The new Demerara River Bridge is a modern, 4-lane, high-span, cable-stayed structure designed to accommodate both vehicular and pedestrian traffic with the highest standards of safety and efficiency. Its main span, supported by elegant pylons, provide a wide navigational channel for ocean-going vessels, ensuring the uninterrupted flow of maritime traffic, a vital feature for a nation whose rivers and the lifelines that connect our people and economy. Construction began on December 22nd, 2022, and within remarkably a short span, the project transformed from an ambitious idea into one of the most transformative undertakings in Guyana's history. We deserve a big clap for the President and his leadership. Beneath the surface lies an extraordinary foundation, 658 piles driven deep into the riverbed. The main towers, each anchored by approximately 76 enormous piles, measure nearly 8 feet in diameter, and were driven 400 feet deep, making them among the strongest structural foundations ever constructed in Guyana's history. The bridge deck is suspended by 136 high-tension cable stays, while the approach sections require 472 precast concrete girders assembled with precision and strength. Every stage of construction adhered to international best practices. At its peak, more than 1,300 workers, engineers, craftsmen, and administrators join hands to give shape to this national dream. Today, we inaugurate more than concrete and steel. We inaugurate confidence, progress, and a renewed sense of national pride. This bridge is not just a road or an access across a river. It's a pathway to Guyana's future. Let this moment remind us that when vision, partnership, and perseverance unite, there is nothing we cannot achieve. Thank you, and may God bless this nation of Guyana. God bless you all.
Meanwhile, at Sunday's commissioning ceremony of the landmark JAGDEO Demerara River Bridge, President Dr. Irfan Ali informed the nation of other transformational projects ongoing across the country, including works on the new BERBICE River Bridge, a bridge linking Guyana and Suriname, as well as other major highways that will further interconnect the various regions and districts of the country.
The team is already negotiating the BERBICE River Bridge. We are working with the Suriname government on the Quarantine River Bridge. Talks are going on with the Curupukari River Bridge, the Sandhills connection, the Del Conte road link, the Mabura Hill Curupukari road link, engineering designs for the Deepwater Port, finalizing the plans for the Wales Development Zone, the Schooner to Parika and Schooner to Wales Highway, the New Amsterdam to Molson Creek road expansion, the completion of the Wisma River Bridge, the completion of Terminal 2 of the airport. All of this and much more we must complete before 2031. May God continue to guide us, and may we continue to work together as a nation in forging a path that will be for all of us, that will belong not only to this generation, but to many generations coming after us.
Let's now tell you that the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission are investigating two related incidents stemming from a land mining dispute in the Toroparo area, Region 7, which occurred on September 23 and 30, 2025. The first incident, which took place on September 23 and was captured on video, features the voice of Mitchell Watson and involved personnel linked to miner Ronaldo Alfonso in a confrontation with GGMC Rangers Marvis Hilleman and Edson Carter. During this altercation, members of Alfonso's security team allegedly discharged firearms. A second incident, recorded 1 week later, also on video, shows an ongoing dispute involving security agent Leon Wilkinson, the main speaker, Ranger Edson Carter, and security officer Randy Allen in conversation with Juliet George, general manager Alfonso Mining, and operator William Hill. This suggests continued tensions between the parties. In response, the Guyana Police Force launched investigations into both incidents, resulting in the arrest of all individuals involved and the seizure of relevant firearms. To prevent further escalation and maintain order, a joint team of police officers and GGMC officials has been deployed to the area to monitor the situation. Coming up, 67 fires recorded in BERBICE from January to September 2025, and GPF to increase presence, clamp down on traffic offenses on JAGDEO River Bridge. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Granny! What are you doing on the right of way? Like you're saying let the sunshine stretch your legs. Sunshine? Look, forget the axe. You know you're not supposed to be on the right of way, Granny.
But I ain't digging, building, burning, or planting.
No horsing wrong, no horse riding, or nothing for doing horses.
But sunshine,
But you and Sunshine get off the right of way.
sunshine will be grand.
Good.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's
This Saturday and Sunday, come down to Gafoor's all-new Home and Office Center, upstairs of the MacDo Mega Complex. We got everything to fix up your place. Recliners, TVs, refrigerators, chandeliers, kitchen appliances, fitness equipment, outdoor furniture, toys, back-to-school bags, all under one roof at prices you can't beat. We open Saturday from 7:30 to 4 and Sunday from 9 to 4. And hear this, you getting 10% off store-wide every Sunday. So don't miss this opportunity to save big. Call 223-9896 or come down this weekend to Gafoor's all-new Home and Office Center, upstairs of the MacDo Mega Complex. Gafoor's, the name you can trust. See you.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. The Guyana Police Force is stepping up its presence on newly commissioned US $262 million JAGDEO Demerara River Bridge as part of a new clampdown on reckless driving, speeding, and other traffic offenses. The move comes amid rising concerns about irresponsible behavior on the bridge on the day of its commissioning, resulting in officers now tasked to enforce stricter penalties and maintain safer roadways for commuters. Here are the details from Trishelle Sobers.
On Sunday, President Dr. Irfan Ali officially commissioned the state-of-the-art four-lane bridge, a key piece of national infrastructure expected to transform connectivity, reduce travel time, and support economic expansion. However, what began as a moment of national pride quickly turned into a concern for road safety authorities after several instances of lawless driving were recorded, prompting the Guyana Police Force to act decisively. Traffic Chief Assistant Commissioner Mahendra Singh said officers will adopt a zero-tolerance approach to traffic offences on and around the bridge.
So, as the traffic officer of the country, I want to give the assurance that whatever will be done going forward, it translates to an action that is generally acceptable and to the satisfaction of the public, with one expectation, that the drivers' population, the motorist population, understand that for every action of yours that is not contextualized to be lawful and the points will be proven, you can and will be charged or ticketed and placed before a court of law. And how we will operate going forward is that we will report every day to the minister as to offenders, cases made, and the follow-up when they are prosecuted.
Singh made it clear that police divisions will coordinate to ensure steady traffic flow, particularly at critical choke points such as roundabouts and access lanes leading onto the bridge. He outlined new measures to ease congestion and improve movement between west and east bank of Demerara. He explained that traffic will now flow in two lanes in both directions, ensuring continuous movement. Additionally, motorists must approach the roundabout with caution and observe the 5 C's: care, caution, consideration, courtesy, and common sense, especially since motorcycle and vehicle patrols will be stationed along the bridge and access roads to ensure drivers remain in their designated lanes. Meanwhile, Public Works Minister EDGHILL has issued an appeal to persons using the new BHARRAT JAGDEO Demerara River Bridge to exercise more caution and consideration and not panic.
The bridge will see a continual flow of traffic uninterrupted. There will be no stoppage of traffic in the morning or in the afternoon. We have moved from a 2-lane bridge to a 4-lane bridge. We used to close off the bridge for double lane traffic to clear the volume and the congestion in the mornings and in the afternoons. There are no priority lanes. We're asking for patience. We're asking for consideration. And we're asking for responsible behavior. The approach road to the old Demerara River Bridge at a northern carriageway will be improved to connect to the new bridge. As a result, over the next several days, the Chinese contractor will be working day and night to complete that lane.
Traffic authorities also detailed several routes to ease movement from Georgetown and surrounding areas. Drivers leaving central Georgetown can access the bridge via two main routes: the East Bank Public Road turning east at Providence Red Road to connect with Windsor Access Road leading directly to the bridge, or the Mandela 2 Heroes Highway Road link continuing west onto the bridge access point. Motorists from the East Coast can use the bypass road, while those coming from the southern direction have multiple options via Greenfield, Red Road, or directly onto the main roundabout leading to the bridge. Traffic officers will be stationed at key intersections and roundabouts to manage flow and penalize offenders who breach the rules. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
The Guyana Police Force on Monday issued a wanted bulletin for 30-year-old Kevin Eversley, also known as Chino, for questioning in relation to the murder of 48-year-old Gavin Major, who was gunned down on September 4, 2025 at California Square, East Rhymeville, Georgetown. Eversley's last known address was given as Lot 49 Front Road, East Rhymeville, Georgetown. Major, a former driver attached to the Agriculture Ministry, sustained 2 gunshot wounds, one to his lower abdomen and another to his left hand. He was later pronounced dead at the Georgetown Public Hospital. It was reported that Major was heading home in his motorcar along with 2 other individuals, and as they passed the residence where the suspect is believed to reside, they reportedly heard 3 loud explosions suspected to be gunshots. At the time, the suspect was seen standing in front of the gate. Major reportedly stopped his vehicle and confronted the suspect about discharging a firearm, but an argument ensued, during which the suspect, who was armed with a handgun, allegedly opened fire, hitting Major twice. The suspect then fled the scene while Major collapsed. He was rushed to the hospital where he died while receiving treatment. Police recovered 2 9mm spent shells at the scene. Anyone with further information about these suspects' whereabouts are asked to contact the police at 225-6940, 225-8196, 227-1149, 911, or the nearest police station. The wife of a pastor is now dead after she was struck by a loose rear wheel of a lorry along the Quarantine Highway as she and her husband were making their way to church on Sunday. Here's Andrew Carmichael with this story.
The incident occurred at Alice Quarantine BERBICE as Pastor Leroy Punch and his wife, Donna Punch, were on their way to church. The deceased, 65-year-old Donna Punch, a housewife, was one of the leaders of the New Jerusalem Church of Alice. The incident occurred as Punch and her husband were about to board a car. The aggrieved Pastor Leroy Punch explained that he and his wife were normally the first to reach to the church, but had some delays on that particular morning. On the day in question, he and his now deceased wife were about to board a car for church when he recalled hearing the sound of a large truck approaching. He related that as the vehicle approached them, he noticed one of its wheels rolling in their direction. Punch said his wife did not see the wheel heading in their direction because she was at the time trying to use her umbrella. He recalled that as the wheel hit the edge of the road, it bounced and flew towards him, but he dodged and it instead hit his wife. The religious leader said he could not save her. She sustained injuries and was later taken to the Port Moran Hospital where she took her last breath. The pastor believes that the lorry was not properly maintained, as the driver explained to him that the lug nuts had slackened, causing the wheel to become loose. The matter is said to be under investigation regarding the fatal accident. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Once again, here is Andrew Carmichael, who reports that some 67 fires were recorded in Region 5 and Region 6 between January and September 2025, which had left 105 persons displaced.
The recent figures were provided by Divisional Fire Officer Clive MacDonald at a church service on Sunday to mark the beginning of Fire Prevention Month. This year, Fire Prevention Month is being observed under the theme, Let's Prevent Fires from the Development for a Safer Nation. MacDonald pointed out that fires impede development.
From the loss of a home to the tragic passing of a loved one, the devastation these disasters leave in the wake is heartbreaking.
Fire Prevention Month, observed every October, is a time dedicated to raising awareness about fire safety and promoting practices that help prevent fires in homes, schools, and workplaces. It serves as a critical reminder of the importance of being prepared, knowing how to respond in cases of fire, and taking proactive steps to reduce fire risk. The month often includes educational campaigns led by fire departments, schools, and community organizations, focusing on key safety tips like checking smoke alarms, creating fire escape plans, and safety using electrical appliances. Fire Prevention Month not only honors the efforts of firefighters, but also empowers individuals and families to take responsibility for their safety and the safety of others.
I encourage all citizens of this division, BERBICE, to install and maintain smoke alarms and fire extinguishers, and to practice a fire escape plan that includes at least 2 ways out of every room.
Noting that this current dry spell is prone to wildfires, the fire officer is urging citizens to take the necessary actions to avert the same.
This year, the division responded to many fires of different causes on dwelling places. We responded to 264 calls. 67 of those are private dwellings, leaving 105 persons homeless. That's a lot. Up to the end of September 2025. However, this season is prone to wildfire. According to Robert Herrick, a famous author, said, "A spark neglected makes a mighty fire." I therefore encourage you to take action by clearing flammable vegetation and to practice fire safety in order to help reduce the occurrence of wildfires.
For the evening news, Andrew Carmichael.
A two-vehicle collision at the South Dakota Circuit, Tamari East Bank, Demerara on Saturday has led to the demise of 58-year-old Richard LaCruz of Tamari South. Based on reports received, the accident involved a Honda moto racing car, which was at the time being driven by a 49-year-old resident of Herstelling, East Bank, Demerara, and the motorcycle being driven by the deceased. Preliminary investigations revealed that on the day in question, the motorcar was undergoing testing around the racing track, and as he negotiated a turn into a straight section, he collided with the motorcyclist, who reportedly swerved in and out of the path of the car. As a result of the collision, the motorcyclist fell off the motorcycle onto the surface of the track, where he sustained injuries to his body. He was picked up and transported to the Guyana Defense Force Medical Center, where he was treated and subsequently transferred to the New Diamond Regional Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. The driver of the motorcar was arrested as investigations continue. Fisherfolk along the Quarantine Coast continue to face mounting challenges due to long-standing complications surrounding the acquisition of fishing licenses from the Surinamese government, a requirement that many consider both restrictive and unfair. The issue has not only disrupted livelihoods but also raised concerns over sovereignty, maritime rights, and regional cooperation. However, Guyanese fisherfolk can expect continued government support as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen and modernize the local fishing industry. Let's find out more from Andrew Carmichael.
This assurance was given by Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa while he was addressing fisherfolk from Albion, Port Morant and surrounding areas at the Albion landing site quarantine in Region 6 on Saturday. The minister acknowledged both the challenges and opportunities facing the sector, particularly regarding licensing issues related to operating in Suriname's waters. He pointed out that the government will continue to work with those fishermen since it wants to ensure that the industry becomes more vibrant.
You all know that some of you all sometimes fish in Suriname waters, and we have been having serious problems in terms of licenses for our fisher folks. You know for a fact, a few years ago, the former government in Suriname made a commitment that they will license 150 Guyanese fisher folks, but they reneged on that.
Mustafa expressed optimism following President Dr. Irfan Ali's recent visit to Suriname, where the issue was reportedly raised once again at the diplomatic level.
I'm hoping our president visited Suriname a few weeks back, and I'm very optimistic and hoping that the new government that is there, we can realize that commitment that the previous government would have made in getting licenses for our fisher folks, so that you will fishing hassle-free there.
He further pointed out that the challenges faced by fisherfolk are not being ignored. Rather, the government is taking a multi-pronged approach to improve infrastructure, reduce operational costs, and ensure safety at sea.
So we will continue to do that. We have developed hundreds of landing sites, and I think we can work along with you. What we are also looking at now, we are looking, because you as the fisher folks, when you sell your catches, you are not getting the main part of the profit. When the middlemen purchase these things and they go out there, they sell it at an exorbitant cost. So we want to work directly with you. We want to create a market where you yourself can sell your catches out there. So that is why we are working to build cold storage, and we are working to put system in place where we can find market, link you directly to market, rather than the middleman come here and buy your fish and take it up here.
For decades, Guyanese fisherfolk operating on the quarantine coast, particularly those from communities such as Albion, Port Morant, Rose Hall and No. 66 Village, have depended on access to rich fishing grounds that lie near or within the disputed maritime space between Guyana and Suriname. However, to legally operate in those waters, they are required to obtain license from the Surinamese authorities, a process fraught with bureaucratic obstacles, political sensitivities and allegations of corruption. While the Quarantine River and surrounding waters have been shared fishing zones for generations, Suriname maintains strict control over the licensing regime, often issuing permits to a select group of vessel owners who in turn rent or sublet them to Guyanese fisherfolk at exorbitant cost. The informal agreement, though technically illegal under Suriname's law, has become a lucrative black market, leaving Guyanese fishermen vulnerable to exploitation. The Suriname government issued a license at $150 per year. Many of the licenses are not granted to the actual boat operators, but to Surinamese brokers, some of whom demand a payment of $3,000 to $5,000 per license per year. Without a valid Surinamese license, Guyanese fishing boats risk being intercepted by Surinamese authorities, which has happened numerous times over the years. In some cases, the boats have been seized and the crew members detained, often without timely legal recourse. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The BERBICE River Bridge is expected to be closed to vehicular traffic on Tuesday, October 7, 2025 at 16 hours 10 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Belenji crowned a new table tennis women's singles champion, and goals galore as Pee Wee U11 tournament rolls on. These and more stories coming up in this evening's Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
It's Cricket Carnival time and MacCorp is knocking prices out of the park. Get the powerful CAT 320GX for just 30 million, the SEM 655D wheel loader at 17.4 million, or the SEM 636D wheel loader for only 13.8 million. Each machine comes with free fuel warranty registration, 2 years warranty, and a customer value agreement for the first 500 hours. Don't wait. Register your interest now at markarpcat.com or call us today on 703-8618. Markarp, let's build Guyana together.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing January 2, 2025 to produce an official list of electors OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed and, if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you'll be 18 years or over by December 31, 2024 and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. If you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not in the PLE, apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered, apply for a name change if you have changed your name, or apply for a correction if your registration particulars are incorrect. Any person whose information on the PLE is incorrect can apply for such information to be changed or corrected. Any person applying for a change or correction to his or her particulars must provide the relevant original source document, birth certificate and a deed poll for a name change by deed poll, marriage certificate and ID card for a name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who is desirous of reverting to her maiden name from her married name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, naturalization certificate for a correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Wednesday, 15th January 2025. For further information, contact GCOM at 225-027829 or visit our website at www.gcom.org.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's...
Granny! What are you doing on the right of way?
Like you're saying let the sunshine stretch your legs.
Sunshine? Look, forget I asked. You know you're not supposed to be on the right of way, Granny.
But I am digging, building, burning or planting.
No horsing wrong, no horse riding or nothing for doing horses.
But Sunshine?
What? You and Sunshine get out the right of way.
Sunshine, I'll be glad.
Good.
In today's tough driving conditions, every engine faces three powerful enemies: engine heat, pollutants, and frequent short trips. Each factor is a direct cause of engine sludge, a buildup of dirt that can block vital oilways. This triple threat demands triple protection. Castrol GTX's Triple Protect Power is engineered to fight these three main causes of engine sludge.
Welcome back to this evening's Sportcast, sponsored by Markarp. Adding to the national women's doubles title she won on the day prior, 15-year-old Jasmine Belingi copped her first national women's singles title on Sunday as the Guyana Table Tennis Association organized tournament continued at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Belingi cruised through the competition, which culminated in a nail-biting final between herself and Samara Sukai, which featured a gripping second set. She